fellow South Africans, I'm addressing you this evening.
All your years of paying tax, you helped us overcome our darkest hour. You, along with every other loyal taxpayer, helped build this nation. Thank you for every life you saved and for every risk you braved, for giving our future generation a healthy start. When you saw many of our vulnerable communities, you provided for them. When you saw our healthcare workers on the front lines battling COVID, you rose to the occasion and gave them the tools to save lives. Without your tax compliance, we wouldn't be able to fight a good fight. Thank you for contributing to the important services our vulnerable communities rely on every day. To all taxpayers and traders, continue to pay your tax because it matters to millions of South Africans who depend on it. Your tax matters.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, SARS management and ambassadors, SMMEs, representatives, taxpayers, and all traders. And officially welcome to our webinar where we'll be talking all things digital channels. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Patu Chedzo Chioda. I'm a graduate trainee in the VAT Compliance Audit Division, and I'll be your program director for this webinar. I hope that you will enjoy your time with us this evening and that it will provide more guidance and understanding on how to utilize the SARS digital channels. As Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world. So are SARS ways of doing things changing to ensure that its taxpayers and traders as well as SMMEs also try to comply with their tax obligations. And I believe that this digital channel webinar will provide that education, the guidance, and the understanding to help all of you to know and to be able to utilize the digital channels provided by SARS. But before we proceed with the program of this evening, I'd like for you to take note of the following. So immediately when you exit this webinar, you will be prompted to complete a short survey. Please complete this survey as much as possible, as we would like to receive your feedback on the quality of information that will be shared here this evening. And if you have questions, I already saw other people raising their hands. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them on the Q&A chat bot, or you can send an email to digitalquestions@sars.gov.za. Please get this one right, as digitalquestions@sars.gov.za. And also bear in mind that this email address will only be available for the duration of this webinar. And due to POPI Act regulations, please do not include your personal details, such as your ID number, your tax number, and other personal details when you ask any of those questions that you have. Unfortunately, for those who are watching via YouTube, you guys won't be able to ask any questions. Only those who have registered for this webinar through the Zoom platform will be able to do so. We also give you our word. We will try as much as possible to answer the many possible questions that you have through the Q&A chat box or through the live Q&A panelist later during this webinar or on the SARS website under the frequently asked questions. If you happen to experience load shedding at any time during this webinar, please do not panic. This recording will be made available just for you on our SARS YouTube channel. You just check for SARS TV and you'll be able to utilize that option for future viewing, and also the presentation will be made available for you on the SARS website. So this is our program will be divided into 3 parts or 3 sessions. So the first session will be the e-filing presentation from our taxpayer education specialist, followed by the tax compliance process presentation from our e-filing and easy file expert. And then the last session will be the Q&A session by a panel of experts for the questions posted on the email address at digitalquestions@sars.gov.za. Now, to kickstart the program of today, ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Fred Salimane. Fred Salimane is the business area head for the SARS Anti-Corruption Unit. He holds master's degrees in fraud risk management and business administration, postgraduate diplomas in management practice from a global executive development program, and investigative and forensic accounting, a postgraduate certificate in accounting, and a Bachelor of Commerce degree in accounting. He is a certified fraud examiner and a commercial forensic practitioner, FPSA. He has over 23 years of experience in taxpayer services, digital risk assessments, financial accounting, tax audit, compliance risk management, fraud risk management, investigative and forensic auditing, integrity and ethics management, fraud investigations, and combating financial and economic crimes. Over 18 years of this experience have been in service with SARS, where he contributed positively in various leadership roles and environments. Mr. Salimane, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Program Director, for the introductions. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Fred Salimane, and it is an immense pleasure and privilege to be given the opportunity of providing this evening's keynote address. A warm welcome to all of you, from the members of the public joining us online to key stakeholders within the small, medium, and micro enterprises, entrepreneurs, tax practitioners, trade facilitation intermediaries, and of course, our SARS colleagues. Over the past 2 decades, the South African Revenue Service has made an intentional effort in modernizing our systems, processes, and technological platforms to provide seamless online digital services, which can help reduce taxpayer visits at SARS branches and promote the use and leveraging of digital channels. In the past 5 years, SARS, led by our Commissioner, has undertaken a step change and ramped up its efforts in enabling voluntary compliance within the SMME sector by investing more in enhancing its digital channels offerings. The use of digital channels is part of SARS's vision to build a smart, modern SARS with unquestionable integrity, making compliance easier and simultaneously increasing taxpayer revenue. This initiative aims to make it easier for SMEs to fulfill their tax obligations and access SARS services through online platforms, ultimately streamlining the tax process and increasing convenience for yourselves as taxpayers. Looking at the SMME environment, the use of digital channels for taxpayer services offers several benefits, including seamless online access, reduced bureaucratic complexity, and lower operating costs. Additionally, the digitization of public tax services can reduce administrative functions, increase data availability, and enable a more user-centric approach in policy delivery, ultimately lowering the operating costs for small and medium-sized businesses. Aligned to the SARS strategic objective of creating clarity of obligations, as well as ease of doing business with SARS, measures have been undertaken to enable small and medium-sized enterprises to become more comfortable with self-service digital channels, with over 90% indicating their comfort with such channels. Overall, the use of digital channels can improve accessibility and reduce costs and enhance the overall taxpayer experience to SMMEs. SARS has also encouraged SMME owners to follow the service on social media through channels such as Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, LinkedIn, as well as YouTube. The South African Revenue Service provides several digital channels for small, medium, and micro enterprises to interact with SARS. These include e-filing, where SMMEs can file their tax returns and access various online services through e-filing. The SARS Mobi app, This mobile application allows SMMEs to perform various tax-related activities on their mobile devices. Then we have the SARS online query system, where SMMEs can use the system to submit queries and requests online. And then you've got convenient and cost-effective tax products, such as turnover tax. And of course, SARS still has the contact center. While not a digital channel, SARS does recommend that SMMEs use e-filing and the SARS online query system before calling the contact center. By leveraging digital channels, the SME sector can benefit from streamlined processes, cost savings, and improved access to essential services, ultimately supporting their growth and competitiveness in the digital economy. Within SARS, there's a dedicated SMME division which monitors and analyzes data to understand clients' needs and improve services, and thereby provide recommendations to enable SMMEs to make better use of digital services and platforms for interactions and query resolutions, such as e-filing and the SARS online query system, before having to call the SARS Contact Centre. Additionally, SARS has organized SMME taxpayer roadshows and education initiatives to provide support and guidance, as well as education to SMMEs, fostering a culture of compliance and informing them of their tax obligations. The imperative for SMMEs to shift to digital platforms has been emphasized, as digital platforms enable SMEs to compete on more equal terms with larger businesses, reach new customers, and accept and effect digital payments. These efforts also reflect SARS's strategic objectives, which focus on the use of data to enhance integrity, derive insights, and improve outcomes for this particular sector. There's a multitude of resources which can be accessed, such as applying online after registering on the National SME database. Additionally, SARS provides e-filing navigation as well as TCS, that's tax compliance status, application guidance for this sector via digital channels. These digital channels have been established to provide SMEs with easier access to SARS's services and to support them in fulfilling their tax obligations. Similar to any other form of innovative endeavor, there are certain challenges which can be experienced. SARS is acutely aware of these and seeks to partner with yourselves to find and implement appropriate solutions. While great strides have been made in the digital channel journey that SARS has traversed, there are still a number of hurdles that SARS needs to overcome in fully implementing digital channels for SMME taxpayer services. These challenges include constrained expertise, SARS's evolving rules and regulations, financial costs of being compliant, onerous tax compliance preparations, and constitutional issues facing SMEs. The lack of digital literacy and access to technology remain prevalent, and concerted efforts remain underway to partner with and enable the readiness of SMMEs to adopt digital solutions. SARS has also found that some SMMEs still prefer to visit SARS branches instead of using digital channels. Rest assured, SARS has been working to address these challenges by providing education and outreach engagements, collaboration with other public stakeholders, and holding roadshows to gain first-hand understanding of SME challenges and needs. Despite these challenges, SARS still advocates that this particular sector should migrate to making use of the available digital channels, as the benefits far outweigh the challenges. Generally, the implementation of digital channels can lead to improved compliance through easier access to information, simplified processes, and increased awareness of tax requirements. Lastly, I would like to leave you with these thoughts. Using digital channels for SMME taxpayer services offers a variety of benefits, including convenience, efficiency, cost savings, competitiveness, and simplified tax compliance. What do we mean? For convenience, digital channels provide SMMEs with the convenience of accessing taxpayer services and information online at any point in time, from any location, in 24 hours, 7 days a week. This is aimed at reducing the need for in-person visits to tax offices. From an efficiency perspective, digital channels can reduce operational costs, improve efficiency along the value chain, and help SMMEs to integrate into regional and global markets. Digital platforms enable SMMEs to interact with SARS as the tax authority more efficiently, allowing for quicker turnaround times for queries and easier access to information. Electronic invoicing and digital platforms can help SMMEs to reduce administrative costs and streamline compliance with tax rules. From a competitiveness perspective, embracing digitization can help SMMEs to stay competitive, as the most digitally advanced companies tend to capture a significant portion of digital revenues and leverage this capability. From a simplified tax compliance perspective, the use of digital systems can make tax compliance processes simpler and increase knowledge around requirements, ultimately easing the burden on SMEs. These benefits demonstrate how digital channels can positively impact various aspects of SMME operations, financial management, and tax compliance. I trust that you'll enjoy an insightful session this evening, that you'll have constructive engagements, and positively contribute towards the identification of innovative solutions to further enhance the efforts to provide you as SMMEs digital channels and platforms which are fit for purpose for your business and environment, and therefore enable seamless services and improved voluntary compliance. On that note, I thank you. Back to you, Program Director.
Thank you so much, Mr. Salimane, for that wonderful welcome address. Quite sure that SMMEs, representatives, taxpayers, and also traders are more inquisitive now to know how do these digital channel platforms provided by SARS makes it easier for them to comply with their tax obligations. If you're that curious, please remember to post all the questions that you have on the Q&A chat box, or you can send an email to digitalquestions@sars.gov.za. We also have new e-filing features that are also available on the SARS Mobi app. Please download it for yourself and get an easier way of staying up to date with all your tax affairs. If you've just joined us now, please do not worry, you do not miss out on much. This recording will be made available for you on our YouTube channel, SARS TV on YouTube. Now, next on our program will be Mr. Mark Rogers, who will be taking us through the e-filing presentation. Mark Rogers began his career at SARS in 2005 as a tax consultant. In 2010, he was appointed as a taxpayer educator within the Tax-Based Broadening and Taxpayer Education Division. Mark is responsible for delivering outreach programs, driving tax-based broadening initiatives, and executing taxpayer and trader educational programs. Mr. Mark Rogers, the time is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Program Director. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our webinar on digital channels. Please allow me to share our presentation on e-filing. First of all, we would like to start with our purpose and the SARS vision for 2024. This presentation is meant to provide information in an easily understandable format and is intended to make...
Mr. Mark? Mr. Mark?
Sorry?
Is your camera on? Is your camera on? Cannot see you. Yes, I can see you now.
Yes.
I think you can try
Sorry
sharing
for that.
again.
Sorry for that. That's our signal that's a bit having issues with our signal. But
Not a
thank
problem.
you.
You may continue. You're welcome.
I do apologize for the delay. Okay. I would like to start with the purpose and our SARS vision for 2024. As mentioned, this presentation is merely to provide information in an easily understandable format and is intended to make the provisions of the legislation more accessible. The information, therefore, has no binding legal effect, and the relevant legislation must be consulted in the event of any doubt as to the meaning or application or any provision. Let's have a look at our SARS vision. Our SARS vision is to build a smart, modern SARS with unquestionable integrity, trusted and admired by government, the public, as well as our international peers. We focus on the following strategic intents. Number one is to make it easy and simple to comply, and we also modernize our systems to provide seamless online digital services, and also to create awareness and clarity and certainty. And then we also make it hard for those who don't want to comply. Let's have a brief introduction on e-filing. Our e-filing from 1st of July 2019, SARS has modernized the e-filing platform to a single user sign-on. If you were registered before that, you were then migrated to the new platform. If you've been migrated to the new e-filing platform and have multiple login profiles linked to your ID number or your passport number, a list of your profiles will display after you have been authenticated. You will be required to choose a primary login from the list. All your profiles will be accessible once you log with your primary credentials. You can then link your other logins as portfolios to your new profile. The tax types transfer process for company tax, personal income tax, and provisional tax has been enhanced to enable ease of transfer of these new tax types between taxpayers, tax practitioners, and registered representatives on e-filing. With this enhancement, the approval lies directly with the taxpayer, which is the owner of the PIT, also referred to as a personal income tax, or the registered representative of the PIT, to transfer tax types to the requester. Our next slide will be just on the points of discussion that we will be going through on the next presentation. Number one, we look at how to register on e-filing, on how to manage your profile on e-filing, and also the portfolio management and how to register a representative. We're also looking at registering, adding a taxpayer on e-filing, especially for organizations. And we're also going to look at the managed tax types and how to manage the groups, and then also the activation of a registered representative. After that, we'll look at the invite user and how to delegate your rights. I must make note that after this point, I will give over to my fellow colleague that will take you through the tax compliance status. Then I will return and continue with your SARS online query system. Allow me then to share how to register on e-filing. The next slide will follow a video, will be in detailed video on how to register on e-filing. Please enjoy.
Welcome to this video that shows you how to register for SARS e-filing. To begin, let's go to www.sars.gov.za. On the right-hand side of the screen, you will see the SARS e-filing menu. Click Register Now. Complete all the fields. For South African citizens, the ID field will be mandatory. For non-South African citizens, the passport number will be mandatory. Click Next. Enter your contact details and create your own username and password. SARS will use these contact details to communicate with you and to send you a one-time PIN, OTP, when necessary. You may use your email address as your username. Your password should contain at least 8 characters, including 1 special character, 1 numeral, and 1 capital letter. Click Next. Indicate your preferred channel to receive your OTP. Click Send OTP. If SARS could only verify one of your contact details, your OTP will be sent to the verified channel of communication. Enter the last 6 digits of the OTP. If you have done this correctly, you will get a notification that you have been successfully registered. However, if SARS is not able to verify your details, you may have to complete a questionnaire. Make sure you have the information nearby to complete the questionnaire in the time allowed. Click Start Questionnaire when you are ready. Once you click Start Questionnaire, you will have to answer all the questions. You have 5 days to start the questionnaire, but once you start, you must complete the questionnaire within 24 hours. If you answer all the questions correctly, you will receive a one-time PIN OTP to complete the registration process. Indicate your preferred channel of communication to receive the OTP. Click Send OTP. Once you have successfully received and entered the OTP, you will now be a registered e-filer. If you are unable to answer these questions correctly, run out of time, or did not receive a questionnaire, a case will be created. You will be required to upload and submit supporting documents to SARS. Follow the on-screen prompts for details on which documents to submit. Please write down the case number for future communication with SARS about this matter. If you click Continue, you will have to upload the supporting documents. You will also receive a letter from SARS via your e-filing inbox informing you which documents to submit. If you do not have these documents on hand, you can return to this page later by using the username and password you created earlier. Click Upload to continue to the next screen, which will show you which documents to upload. Please follow the guidelines for uploading documents. Upload all the documents requested by SARS before you submit in order to avoid any delays in processing your case. Once submitted, you will not be able to add more documents unless you receive a new request for documents from SARS. If you're sure you have uploaded all the documents required, click Continue. Keep a lookout for an email from SARS regarding the outcome of your case. If your registration was unsuccessful, the email will inform you what you should do next. If successful, the email will inform you that your registration has been successful. You can then log in with the details you have captured during the registration process. Congratulations! You're now a registered e-filer. SARS, at your service.
Thank you for watching that video with us. In summary, that is how to register on e-filing. Please take note that your details need to be updated with SARS and need to be verified on our SARS core systems. Now we'll be looking at how to manage your profile on SARS e-filing. Please allow me to see the next video as how to manage your profile on e-filing.
Dear taxpayer, welcome to this tutorial video on how to manage your profile on the SARS e-filing platform. To log in, use your existing username and password. The e-filing dashboard will display a visual summary of your current tax affairs regarding compliance, outstanding returns, and account balances with SARS. Note, to make the screen bigger, close the left-hand menu by simply clicking on the menu icon on the top left corner. Use the Profile and Preference Setup function to manage your primary login details, security contact details, two-factor authentication, and passwordless login. Click on the My Profile button on the left. Select Profile and Preference Setup. Please note you cannot change your tax reference number and identity or passport number on the screen. SARS uses security details to send out OTPs. You can confirm or update your security details here and choose your preferred method of communication. Click on the Update and Save button to update your details. Approve the online request by clicking the OK button. Enter the OTP sent to your preferred method of communication and click on Submit. This will update your security details. You can update your login details here. Note, you can change your username. Two-factor authentication is an additional security measure which requires you to provide your password as well as a second factor of authentication to log into e-filing. Simply select two-factor authentication to switch on two-factor to use an additional authentication method. You have an option to choose either the OTP or the e-filing Mobi app authentication. Click on the Update and Save button, then follow the steps depending on the method chosen. Passwordless login enables you to use your mobile device to approve the e-filing login request instead of typing in your password. You have to download the SARS Mobi app to use this functionality. Please note, you can either switch on passwordless login or choose the two-factor authentication on your profile. However, you cannot switch on both at the same time. If you prefer to use the passwordless login, select passwordless login to switch on. Click Enroll Device button and follow the steps. Thank you for watching this video on how to manage your profile and preference setup on SARS e-filing.
Thank you for
Dear
watching this
taxpayer.
video. Just a kind reminder that these videos will be available on our SARS YouTube channel. Please allow me to share the next few presentations or slides on portfolio management. So once you've registered on e-filing, you will create a portfolio, and now I'll be explaining how to manage those portfolios. Portfolio management is a function that is used to link or unlink or add various portfolio roles on your e-filing profile. You'll be looking at the different type of portfolios. Firstly, you're looking at the individual portfolio, which is a portfolio to manage your own personal taxes. There's also a tax practitioner profile or a portfolio where you manage the taxes of multiple individuals entity as a tax practitioner. Multiple company portfolios where you are also registered as a representative, for example, a public officer or the employee of, and you are managing the taxes of those companies. You can also opt to have all these roles merge into one company and tax practitioner profile, if you wish. I'll be playing a next video on portfolio management as how to navigate the system on portfolio management. Please enjoy.
The following video will show you how to add a new portfolio on SARS e-filing. There are three types of portfolios. Individual. A person acts for himself or herself to administer his or her own individual taxes. Tax practitioner. A person registered with SARS and/or a recognized controlling body, RCB, with assigned power of attorney to act on behalf of a taxpayer. Organization. A representative of a tax-paying entity acting either as a representative taxpayer, for example, public officer, executor of an estate, etc., or an appointed representative with assigned power of attorney in place. Go to the e-filing website www.sarsefiling.co.za and log on to your e-filing profile. Click My Profile on the left pane of the home page. Then click Portfolio Management below. The Portfolio Management screen will display for you to link Add Portfolios. To add a new portfolio to your profile, select Add Portfolio. Type the portfolio name you are adding. Select the portfolio type on the drop-down arrow: individual, tax practitioner, or organization. Click Add Portfolio. The portfolio you have added will appear under Linked Portfolios. By clicking the ellipsis on the right-hand side, you can set a default portfolio so that the system automatically displays this portfolio when you log in. Change the portfolio type. Rename portfolios for your ease of reference. Congratulations! You have successfully added a new portfolio.
Thank you. The following few slides will be a detailed description or detailed discussion around the portfolios management. A registered e-filer can act in different roles on e-filing. These roles are referred to as portfolio types, for example. The video previously just explained these different types of portfolios that's available. For the individual, just to put some emphasis on it again, is a person acting on himself or herself to administer her own individual taxes. Then for tax practitioner is a person registered with SARS and a recognized controlling body, also referred as a RCB, and has assigned power of attorney to act on behalf of another taxpayer. An organization is a representative of a taxpaying entity acting either as a representative taxpayer, for example, a public officer or executive of an estate, an appointment representative with assigned power of attorney in place. Please take note, once you've done the migration, then you only have a single login, which is your primary username, which is one username and one password. The following screens is just some screenshots as to our welcome screen and how to log into e-filing. I'll be running quickly through it, and please allow me to share that screens with you. On the first screen you're looking at, this is where you have to put in your username, followed by the password, and then click on login. Once you've logged into the screen, you can click on My Profile, indicated and highlighted in red, which followed by the Portfolio Management button. Once you've clicked that, the Portfolio Management screen will be displayed for you to add your different portfolios. Once you've added the portfolio, you can either name your portfolio, and you also have to select the type of portfolio to register for. You can rename the portfolio for the ease of reference, and you can also change the portfolio type, and then you can set a default portfolio so that the system can automatically display this portfolio once you've logged in. Now we'll be looking at the registered representative, also referred to as the RR. Who is a registered representative? So here's a list below as the capacity of registered representatives. There's a treasurer if you're a treasurer of an entity, curator if you have been appointed as a curator of a taxpayer, a liquidator, executor, or administrator for estate purposes, a main partner if you're the main partner in the partnership, or a main trustee if you're a main trustee of the trust. You also have a public officer if you're a public officer of the company, and a main member if you're the main member of the closed corporation. You can have a parent and a guardian if you're a parent or guardian of a child. And there's also accounting officer if you are an accounting officer of that entity. SARS only allows the activation of a tax practitioner as a registered representative for individuals in the following circumstances. Your executor acting on behalf of a deceased estate, or your parent acting on behalf of a minor, or appointed administrator acting on behalf of a legal incapacitated individual, or if you're appointed administrator acting on behalf of individual in an extended absence. For example, if you're imprisoned or overseas. Registering a registered representative, you can do that by completing our SARS online query system on SARS website, which we will cover later in our presentation. The taxpayer needs to book an appointment with SARS via the e-booking system to register as a registered representative, or they can do that on e-filing. If you need to view the supporting documents that need to accompany that, you can simply click on the link below or find it on our website. A registered representative is a registered representative must ensure that the represented entity and the representative profiles are merged at source, meaning that all the tax types are under one profile. The registered representative will also ensure that their personal contact details, their cell phone number and email address are updated on SARS records in the case where they want to send a one-time PIN. If the registered representative is registered e-filing, contact details can be updated via the personal e-filing profiles, via the registered amendments and verification form, also referred to as the Revo 1 or a SARS or on the SARS Mobi app. After registering the registered representative, It will be indicated on the registration and verification form and ticked under the representative taxpayer as indicated below. This will then allow the representative to be able to activate the required tax type of their client. What to consider for e-filing to work effectively? Number one is to make sure that you register yourself as a registered representative at SARS or on our SARS systems. Then the entities must be merged by meaning that it's one profile on SARS records. Meaning if you are registered for different type of taxes, it needs to be under one profile. The registered representative must be merged, the same as that was referred to earlier as one profile on our SARS record. Then the registered representative must have updated or registered the cell phone number and an email address on their personal profile at SARS. And those are merely just for the one-time PIN purposes. I need to put some emphasis on that. You need to make sure that your details are updated with SARS. Otherwise, it will create a mismatch or a verification case. Then you need to activate the registered representative on e-filing, which will which we will cover in our presentation later on. We will look a bit detail into that. Now we're going to have a look and see how to remove yourself as a registered representative. So these are the steps that you need to follow to remove yourself as a representative of an entity. You need to select organizations from the top menu, and then you click on the SARS registered details on the left menu, followed by the maintain SARS registered details, which you can click on your left-hand side menu once you've clicked on organization. You have to click on the I agree to the terms and conditions and click continue. Then you need to click on the proceed to the tax subscription screen as shown below. The Revel 1 will then appear where you have to click on my representative. You have to untick yourself as a representative taxpayer option and then click OK. It is important that you also click then the delete button to remove yourself as the public officer. And once you've clicked done, you need to submit this information to SARS by clicking on the submit form so that the system can update your information. The confirmation page of the registration workpage will appear with information that has just been changed. Now we'll be looking at how to add a company to your existing e-filing profile and to manage the tax types. Please allow to share this video. Enjoy.
Welcome to the tutorial on how to add a company to your existing e-filing profile and request the transfer of your corporate income tax from the holding party. The company must have a registered representative on SARS's record to complete this process. Visit the SARS website for instructions on how to register as a company representative. A registered representative is a person appointed with full rights that acts on behalf of another legal entity. For example, companies, trusts, etc. These are often public officers, accounting officers, or administrators. If a legal entity has more than one registered representative, they must nominate one as the official representative person with SARS. Remember, the specific registered representative must be registered with SARS. Log in to your e-filing profile using your username and password. Your e-filing dashboard will open, and you can start the first step to add an organization profile for your company by clicking My Profile. Click Portfolio Management on the left-hand side menu. Click Add Portfolio to add a new portfolio for your company. Capture the portfolio name. Select Organization on the lookup option and click Add Portfolio. Your portfolio has been successfully added. Now that you have successfully added an organization portfolio, you will be able to add your company. Click on this icon to choose which portfolio you would like to set as a default portfolio. A default portfolio is one whose content is accessible upon login. Click Go to Portfolio on the organization portfolio you just created. Click Organizations on the top navigation tab. Click on Organization on the left navigation tab. Click Register New on the left navigation panel. If you are the registered representative of the company, click here to choose the company you are adding and follow the steps as required. If you are not a registered representative of the company, your company details will not appear here, and you will get an error message. Therefore, you will have to complete the entity details, starting with selecting the entity type as company. Capture the registered name, registration number, and the company's tax reference number. Then click Add Taxpayer. Click System Default to add the newly registered company in a user group or groups where you have user rights. If you do not select System Default, you will not access all the functionalities relating to this profile. Click Continue to proceed. You will then be presented with a summary of the information you captured on the previous screen. Click Manage Tax Types to proceed to request tax types to be transferred from the current holding party to your organization e-filing profile. For each tax type, you will then be presented with different statuses. Not active, active with another party, means that the specific tax type is not yet active under your e-filing profile. Under the Action tab, you may request the transfer from the current holding party by clicking on the tax types you would like to request the transfer of. Not active means that the tax type is not active on your e-filing profile, nor with another holding party. For the not active tax types, you will have to request activation to activate the tax type. Once the selection has been made, click Submit. If there is no registered representative for the company, you will be presented with this screen. The status of the tax types will be not active. Place your cursor on the information icon to see why the action is not available. Click Continue. The status will change to Awaiting Authorization. The tax type transfer request has been submitted. The registered representative of the company will receive an email that a tax type transfer request has been submitted. The registered representative of the company must then proceed to approve the transfer. Please note that a similar process below is applicable in the event where you, as an individual, or your registered representative are required to approve a tax type request made between two tax practitioners. It is important that when the transfer request is between tax practitioners, the representative of the individual will receive the email requesting the approval. If the individual does not have a registered representative, the individual will receive the email to approve the request. The registered representative of the company or the individual will then visit the SARS website on www.sars.gov.za and click Manage Tax Type Transfer. They will be required to capture the registered representative's or the owner's ID or passport number and the tax reference number requested, and then click Submit. They will then be required to choose the preferred communication method to receive the OTP, then click on OK. They will proceed to capture the OTP and click Submit. The registered representative of the company or the individual will then be presented with details of the transfer request. They can then select Authorize and Submit to approve the tax type transfer request. The request has been successfully actioned. The registered representative of the company has actioned the request. You need to log in again into your e-filing profile to verify if it shows as authorized on your side. If there are historical records to be transferred and small enough, the transfer will occur immediately. Otherwise, the transfer will take 24 hours to become active or authorized. Click View Taxpayer under the Actions column on the corresponding company you want to verify the transfer of the tax type. Alternatively, you may choose the taxpayer type under the Taxpayer drop-down option on the top navigation panel. Click Organizations on the top navigation. Click Organizations on the left-hand side navigation panel, then click Tax Types. Click View Request History. Click the calendar icon and select the applicable dates of the tax type request. Type in the requested tax reference number and click Search. The status should be authorized under the status column. Click View for additional details regarding the tax type transfer request. Should you wish to access the company's tax returns, click Returns from the top navigation menu. Click Returns Issued on the left-hand side navigation menu. Click the Income Tax ITR 14 tab to access the return. For further assistance in completing and submitting your company tax return ITR 14, refer to the external guide on how to complete the company income tax return ITR 14 on e-filing, available on the SARS website, or watch the YouTube video on the SARS TV channel. Congratulations, you have successfully transferred the tax type.
Thank you for watching that video. Just in summary, just be reminded that you need to have the registered representative updated at SARS before you'll be able to activate the tax type on SARS. Thank you. Now we'll be looking at the manage groups presentation, how to manage the groups on your presentation. You can choose a portfolio by clicking to go to portfolio, as indicated below, highlighted in red. In order to activate the tax type function and services on e-filing, tax directors or tax compliance status, for example, you must ensure that the correct rights and authorization levels have been allocated to the users on your organization portfolio. To activate the tax type function and services, you need to select on organizations from the menu on top, then select organization on the left, followed by the rights group and manage groups. The group details screen will display. You can click on the Set Up New Group button to create a new group, for example, Return Submissions. You create the edit group name, or you can create or edit the group name where applicable and select the applicable authorization level. There are 3 different levels that you can select. One meaning that it's view only, and then completions and submissions. If you're on the view only, the individuals or the persons added to the view only screen will only be able to view certain functions. So those are the 3 options to select from. Select the applicable tax types to be activated. For example, the tax director with tax reference number or tax compliance status. Click on the Manage Payers hyperlink to add a taxpayer or activate all your organization's portfolio to a specific group as indicated below. You click on the Manage Users hyperlink to add users on your organization's portfolio to a specific group. For more information, you can refer to the section on Manage Users. You can drag the user into the gray box to give access to the group and then click on the Save icon. If you want to remove a user from that group, you can simply drag their name from the gray box into the white area. Alternatively, you can click on Switch to Grid View. Once you've selected that, the user can give access to a group under In Group and then click on the Save button as indicated below. To amend the details of an existing group, click on the Open hyperlink. You can edit the group name where applicable and select then the applicable authorization level between the 3. Select the applicable tax type that you want to activate. So if you want to activate the tax directive, you need to tick that box or the tax reference number or the tax compliance status. So make sure that if you want to add any of the tax products, you need to make sure that they are ticked under these options there. Now we will have a look at the activation of a registered representative. For e-filing for organizations, if you are a registered representative for an entity and you have been registered at SARS, you must activate the status on e-filing in order to transact on behalf of your client. You can select organizations from the menu on top, followed by SARS registered details on the left menu, and then you have to click on the Activate Registered Representative. You have then select either if you are a tax practitioner or a registered representative. Agree to the declaration confirming that you are the authorized representative for the taxpayer and click on the Continue button. Complete the applicable fields and select the representative capacity either as an accounting officer, curator, public officer, or parent guardian. then you have to click on the activate button at the bottom of the screen. Please take note that you need to make sure that the information is the same as what it is on our SARS systems. If the registered representative status is unconfirmed, the registered representative are encouraged to activate themselves on e-filing first. If the representative status is awaiting verification, this means that the registered representative details on e-filing did not match those on SARS records, and the supporting documents may be required to be uploaded via e-filing. If the registered representative is active, and this is what we want, that's why we highlighted in green, that means that the SARS was able to match the records of e-filing with those registered on our SARS system. Please take note that the registered representative will have limited access to the Revo 1 if the entities with the status is not as active. The following screen will just be screenshots as to how to navigate our system. Firstly, you have to click, like I mentioned before, on the organization on the top menu, followed by the activate registered representative on your left-hand side. Once you've clicked on the activate registered representative, you will be prompted to either select a registered representative or activate the tax practitioner as indicated below. The registered representative declaration screen will be displayed. If you select agree, then you will be allowed to continue. And if you click on I do not agree, you won't be able to continue. Ensure that the registered representative tax number is completed and that the correct capacity as per SARS records is selected, and click the activate registered representative button. Upon successful activation of this registered representative on e-filing, the status field will be indicated as active as indicated below and highlighted in red. On completion of the activation step, the activation registered representative button will then be inactive or grayed out once it reflects as active. Now we will look at how to invite users and to delegate certain rights on these profiles. Who can be invited as a user on a portfolio? A requester can only be allowed to invite a user if all the following conditions apply. Number one would be then the user who has completed his or e-filing registration, and SARS can find a match for the user details, enter the ID number and surname, and the user registered for e-filing prior to the 1st of July before the migration took place must have logged into e-filing in order to set up the new e-filing platform. And then lastly, the user who does not exist on the portfolio will be able to be invited, meaning that if the person is already on that portfolio, you won't be able to invite them again. In order to invite a new user to a portfolio, select the correct portfolio by simply following the portfolio process as to My Profile and clicking on Portfolio Management. You have to choose to go to Portfolio and the portfolio that you selected. And once you've clicked on the portfolio, you can simply click on the user from the top menu, then click on User on the left menu. You select the identification type and enter the ID number as well as the surname, and then you can click on Invite as indicated on the screen. You give the new user access rights. On the next screen, by selecting the group if you want the user to have access to, and by selecting the role of that user. It is very important that you need to select the system default, otherwise that person or the user that you are inviting won't be able to do anything on e-filing. Once you've done with that, you can either allocate certain roles to that new user, whereby you have to select or tick the boxes that you want these usernames or the user to have. Accepting the invitation, the status will show awaiting confirmation. Invitation can be cancelled by clicking cancel invitation, and the user can also be sent a reminder if the person has not accepted that invitation. The SMS and email notification will be sent to the person who has been invited to be a user on an organization or tax practitioner's profile. You can log onto your e-file profile by selecting My Profile, select Portfolio Management, and then the user invitation will then display. Click on accept. The new user will be sent an OTP via the preferred means of contact, which is either the cell phone or email. Accepting the invitation, the message will come up confirming that the portfolio has been linked, and the linked portfolio will be moved to the linked portfolio as indicated here below. Now I will be handing over to my colleague Nokuthula Mbata to take you through the tax compliance status process. Over to you, Nokuthula.
Thank you very much, Mark, for a very insightful presentation. Good evening, everyone. On my side today, I will be presenting on accessing the tax compliance status on e-filing. And then, as mentioned, my name is Nokuthula Mbata, and I am the SARS support consultant for Gauteng as well as Free State. And then on the chat box, I've got my colleague Yolanda Shole, who is the support consultant for Gauteng as well as the Northwest region. The overview of today's presentation is on the tax compliance status. So I will be speaking about the summary of the tax compliance status, activating tax compliance status rights, tax compliance status activations, my compliance profile, tax compliance status, request, as well as the tax compliance status verification.
Hi, Nokuthula.
So the purpose of the, hi, yes, Patu?
I cannot see your presentation.
Okay, that's a presentation.
Are you sharing?
I am sharing, is it not reflecting now?
I can see it now, thank you.
Okay, apologies for that. So as mentioned, that the purpose of this today's presentation, again, will be on the tax compliance status. Okay, so the presentation today is to assist taxpayers on how to access the tax compliance status functionalities on e-filing. The tax compliance status functionality consists of the below: to view my compliance profile on e-filing, to request the tax compliance status for good standing, as well as the approval international transfer, and as well as the tax compliance verification, which enables you to access the TCS functionality or to verify the tax compliance status of taxpayers by using the PIN. Please ensure that the correct rights are allocated for the tax compliance status access for functionalities to be available on e-filing. Rights needs to be updated, and they can be updated by clicking on Organization, Rights Groups, and Manage Groups. You will also need to ensure that the correct taxpayer is also selected from the taxpayer list when accessing the tax compliance status. Now, below is a screen of how you can access the rights to update the rights to be able to access the tax compliance status. You will simply click on Organization at the top, and on your left-hand menu, you click on Rights Groups, and then you click on Manage Group. You will focus solely on the tax compliance status as well as the tax compliance status verification. You will need to make sure that those rights are ticked so that you do have that functionality on e-filing. And then to activate the tax compliance status functionality, the chosen taxpayer must be registered and active for at least one of the following tax types on their e-filing profile, which is their income tax, pay-as-you-earn, or value-added tax. So if you do receive this message when you're trying to activate the tax compliance status from your profile, you will just need to make sure that you've got your tax types activated. You can simply navigate to your Manage Tax Type options on e-filing to double check which tax types you have active. And if you do not have anything active under the status function, you will just need to activate at least one of the tax types. So just as a reminder, please note that should you have your tax types scattered all around e-filing, for instance, if you've got your VAT tax type on one e-filing profile and another tax practitioner has your pay-as-you-earn, you can only have one e-filing profile active for the tax status activation. Okay, so to activate the tax status activation, you will click on tax status. You will select the tax compliance status checkbox. You read and accept the disclaimer checkbox, and then you click on activate button to proceed with the activation. Now, this is how the screen again will look like. Again, simply on your top menu, you will click on tax status, and on your left-hand side, you click on tax compliance status, and then you will click on activation. You will tick on the checkbox under tax compliance status. You will also have the tax reference number box, which will confirm the tax number that you are activating the tax status for. You read the disclaimer, you tick on the checkbox, and you click on activate to proceed with the activation process. A message will be displayed to indicate that the initial activation of the service has been successful. And to finalize the activation process, the taxpayer will be prompted to complete the registration verification. So after you have clicked on continue button, the entity reference number confirmation page will be displayed. This is for you again to confirm that you are using the correct tax number to activate the tax compliance activation process. Once the TCS verification registration is successfully completed, a successfully activated status will be displayed. This will then be noted in green to show you that the activation process is successful, and you can just click on continue. So once you continue, you will move on to viewing your compliance profile. The tax compliance status system assists to view the tax compliance status electronically under My Compliance Profile for the tax reference number that it is registered for. You will then move on to click on My Compliance Profile under the tax compliance status menu to view the compliance profile. So there will be status indicators that will be displayed with the following colors. You will have green. This is to show that the taxpayer is compliant, and you will have red showing that the taxpayer is non-compliant. Again, this is how the screen will show. So how to navigate to it, again, you just click on tax status in the top menu. You will click on tax compliance status on the left, and then My Compliance Profile. And then a table will then be shown as follows that shows the status indicators and also lets you know if you are compliant or non-compliant. So remember, if it is green, it is compliant, and if it's red, it is non-compliant. So for you to click on the reasons, to know the reasons for why you are non-compliant, you can just simply click on the non-compliant tab. It will provide you with the reasons as to why you are non-compliant, and then you will just remedy as you should. So after you've seen your compliance profile, you can move on to the tax compliance status request. The tax compliance status request dashboard contains the request functionality to request an overall tax compliance status in respect of good standing and approval international transfer, which was previously known as foreign investment allowance and or immigration, to obtain a PIN with which you share with your third party. The following tax compliance status may be applied for on e-filing. So you've got your good standing. This is the this compliance status is issued when the taxpayer wants to confirm that his or her tax affairs are in order with SARS. Then we've got the approval international transfer. This functionality allows the taxpayer to apply to transfer funds internationally. And then just please note that the tender option was removed, and the good standing tax compliance status must be used for all other scenarios where a third party wants to verify a taxpayer's compliance status. Now, again, this is the screen of how you can request the tax compliance status. Again, you click on tax status at the top, you click on tax compliance status on your left, and then you click on tax compliance status request. As mentioned, you've got the two types, which is good standing and international approval international transfer. So you select the tax compliance request type, and when the request button is selected, the tax compliance status request form will be displayed to complete and submit. It will ask you to put in your contact information. Just please note that you need to put in the correct and accurate contact information that is reflecting on SARS, and then you submit the form. After this form has been submitted, the following screen will be displayed to indicate that the request has either been approved, declined, expired, or is requesting supporting documents, etc. You can then move on to select the tick box to have the PIN either printed or sent to you via SMS. Now this is how it will look like, and then you can just click under the select tab, you click on the tick box, and then you can select your options as to if you have the PIN SMS'd or printed to you. So once the letter is generated for the PIN, the TCS work page will be updated with the letter, and it may be accessed by selecting the view hyperlink as indicated in the below screen. So again, just remember, if you do immediately click on view button, it might just take a bit of time. If it is providing you a message that the letter is being processed, you can just refresh your e-filing, just log off for about 5 minutes, log back in again, follow the same prompts, click on the view button, and the letter will then be issued. Now below is an example of how the tax PIN will then be issued. It will then be provided to you to show you if you're compliant, and you can send this PIN to the third party that requests to view your compliance status. Now, thank you very much, Mark. We will hand back to you, and just remember that you can put your questions in the chat box so that we can carry on. Thank you very much. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you, Nokutula, for that insightful presentation. Please allow me to share the next few slides on our SARS online query system. Just a brief introduction as with our SARS online query system. The SARS online query system is an easy-to-use online platform that is accessible via the SARS website, which is www.sars.gov.za. The SARS online query system, also referred to as SOX, enables taxpayers who wish to raise queries with SARS without the need to actually visit or to go to a SARS branch. To initiate a query, taxpayers simply need to complete the online form by selecting a query type, complete a set of required information fields, attach its supporting documents where necessary, and submit the data to SARS for processing and review. So the next few slides, we will then look at the different type of queries that you will be able to do via our online query system. How do I access our SARS online query system? To access the SARS, or refer to SARS online query system, taxpayers can visit the SARS website, www.sars.gov.za, then click on the Contact Us and then select the applicable query under Send Us a Query. Or alternatively, they can access the SARS online query system on the SARS homepage by clicking on Online Services. Now we'll look at the different type of queries that you will be able to do on our SARS online query system. The first one we're looking at is to request your tax number. If you're a taxpayer who are registered for income tax and do not know what your tax reference number is, you can request it via the SARS online query system by using What's My Tax Number query type. Supporting documents and tax reference details are not required for this query type. You can simply select the channel that you want to receive the tax number from by clicking on the Send By drop-down list. You can either select email or SMS. Please take note that the contact details must be the same as what is on SARS record details in order to receive your tax number. Now we'll be looking at how to submit supporting documents. The query type that can be accessed when the taxpayer is requested to upload supporting documentation. This query type is available for all taxpayers, including e-filers. So these are the following tax products that you will be able to upload documents for: the income tax, pay-as-you-earn, VAT, or transfer duty. In order to submit supporting documents to SARS, the taxpayer is required to upload them along with a set of mandatory data using supporting document upload query type as indicated below. Now we will look at different scenarios when you need to load supporting documentation. The system will match the case number, and one of the following outcomes is possible. So allow me to share one or two scenarios with you. Where the captured case number cannot be matched to the supplied case number, but there are other active case numbers. The message invalid case number, the following case numbers are active for this tax reference number will be displayed. A list of case numbers will be displayed where you have to review the list and enter the correct case number. Our second scenario here is where the captured case number cannot be matched and no other case numbers exist. So the message invalid case number, there are currently no active cases for this tax reference number will be displayed. You need to review the letter that you received requesting the supporting documents to be uploaded to ensure that you are using the correct case number. Where the captured case number is invalid, the message the case number captured is invalid will be then displayed. There's also an add notes in the notes field to explain the reason for why you're submitting those supporting documents. You can simply click on the Add Documents button to add the supporting documents. Now we're going to have a look if you want to submit a payment allocation. This is for queries relating to SARS allocation of payment in respect of income tax, pay-as-you-earn, and VAT. You capture the required mandatory information and you will thereafter be able to attach the supporting documents. You can click on the Add Notes in Notes field to explain how the payments must be allocated. Make sure the notes are clear and understandable. The next one we're looking at is how to report a new estate case. Queries relating to reporting a taxpayer as an estate in respect of income tax, pay-as-you-earn, and VAT can be submitted using this query type to report a new estate case. Please note that if you capture the required mandatory information, and you will be able to attach the supporting documents required for this query. Once the query is submitted, the system will determine if there is any existing estate coding cases. If there is an existing case, SARS will inform you, the taxpayer, of the existing case, and the supporting documents submitted will be attached to the existing case. If there is no case, a new estate coding case will be created and supporting documents will then be attached to that case. Now we're also looking at how to register a representative via our SARS online query system. Queries relating to this updating of a registered representative of a taxpayer in respect of income tax, payers, and VAT can be submitted via using this query. The requester captures all required mandatory information and attaches the supporting documents required for this query. Once the query is submitted, a case will be created for a SARS official to be resolved. I would love to put some emphasis on that, is that once the case has been submitted, it will be allocated to a SARS official to resolve. Now we're looking at the tax compliance status request that you can also be doing, or you can do via our SARS online query system. Taxpayer can use this query to request a tax clearance request or status request. Any of the following TCS types can be requested via our SOX system. A good standing for foreign investment allowance as well as immigration. Please note that the tender has been removed. The taxpayer must capture all the mandatory fields to be able to submit this request. For the next slide, we're looking at if the third party wants to verify a TCS PIN. So the query allows institution permitted by the taxpayer to vary the taxpayer's TCS. For the third party to be able to verify, he or she must have the taxpayer's reference number and the TCS PIN. The third party must capture all the mandatory fields to be able to verify the TCS. You also have the function to, if you want to verify for a VAT vendor. To verify a VAT vendor or person that's registered for a VAT, this functionality can be used by clicking the search for a vendor. The trust registration process. The query will be able to trust represent to apply for income tax registrations via the SARS online query system. The requester captures all the required mandatory information on the screen and uploads the supporting documents required for this query. Once this query is submitted, a case will be created for SARS official to resolve. Please take note that the registration will not happen immediately, but will be then allocated to a SARS official to communicate or resolve this query. You can also request SARS notices via the SARS online query system. Number one, we're looking at the notice of assessment, which is an ITA 34, or you can also request a statement of account for income tax purposes. Please note that the notice of assessment is printed per tax year, and the statement of account can be printed for a period for 6 months or if you have a date range period. You capture all the mandatory fields on the screen and be able to submit this request. How do you access the SMME web page on SARS on our SARS website? You simply go to SARS website, www.sars.gov.za, and you click on small businesses. Once you click on that, this is the screen that will be displayed, where you will have access to various information. Please take note that the Mobi app functionalities for SMMEs, and this is only applicable currently for sole proprietors functionalities on the Mobi app. You can request IT statement of account, submit supporting documents, maintain registered details, tax compliance status, as well as submit a payment allocation, portfolio management, or contact us, and also travel declarations on the Mobi app. Please follow us on our social media platforms, as well as our SARS YouTube channel. I would just like to give you a reminder that this presentation will be available as well as on our SARS YouTube channel. For more information, kindly visit our SARS website, which is www.sars.gov.za. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Program Director.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mark and Nokutula, for informative presentations. And as SARS, we always strive to make sure that the compliance process is simpler for SMMEs, our taxpayers, and all traders. I hope everyone in the audience now will be better equipped to use e-filing as a self-service platform that has been provided by SARS, all the way from e-filing registration, managing your profiles, portfolio management. A lot of education and guidance has been provided through this presentation. Thank you, Mr. Mark and Nokutula, once again for that. And this also confirms that this digital channel webinar is increasing the uptake of digital migration, and it encourages those who are already registered to utilize these channels. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe you've been burning and you've been waiting patiently to get answers for all the questions that you've been sending since we started with this webinar. Please worry no more, because we have reached the final session of this program. So this is the Q&A session that will be facilitated by Dineo Tsima together with other subject experts. All right. Please just be patient with me. I'm trying to load her bio. All right. Dineo Tsima is a learning and development manager at SARS with over 16 years of experience. She began her SARS career as a debt collector in the call center. She gained experience dealing with tax-related issues for tax practitioners and assisting with complex tax queries as a tax facilitator over the years. Dineo has a diploma in human resources from the University of Johannesburg, a BTech degree in marketing from UNISA, and a BCom law from UNISA as well, and a higher diploma in tax law from the University of Johannesburg. Dineo Tsima, over to you.
Thank you, Program Director. I'm privileged to be part of the webinar which seeks to support the needs of the important sector of our economy, the SMMEs. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Let me take this opportunity to thank you for the questions you have shared with us, and we will ensure that we respond to all of them. Remember, these questions do assist us to test if we are providing enough clarity and certainty to your tax obligations as per our strategic objective 1. Your questions also assist us to improve our processes and your taxpayer experience, as we are committed to making it easy for all taxpayers and traders to comply with their tax obligations. Ladies and gentlemen, as the program director indicated, I am here to facilitate the questions and answers session, but I'm not here alone. I do have a panel of experts with me who will assist me in responding to the questions that you have sent to us. Team, I'm going to ask you to please switch on your camera when I call out your name. I will start with you with Mark Rogers. Mark Rogers is from the Tax-Based Broadening and Education. Thank you, Mark. I will then call upon Iman Hebner. Iman is an operational specialist from Digital Channel. Thank you, Iman. I will then call on Nokutu Lambata. Nokutu Lambata is a consultant at SARS e-filing and EasyFile. Thank you, Nokutu. And then I'll call Mbongiseni Nkikana. Mbongiseni is a service consultant, taxpayer engagement. Thank you, Mbongiseni. Welcome, panelists. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll start with the first question that you sent to us. My tax practitioner wants to activate my tax type for my company on his profile, but he can't as the e-filing system shows not available. May I ask Iman to assist us in responding to this question? Over to you, Iman.
Thank you, Daneo. Good evening, everyone. To respond to your question, kindly note that if the status of the tax type is not available and an information icon appears, you would need to hover your cursor above the icon to see what the message says. The message will either say that there isn't a representative activated or that the registered representative does not have e-filing security contact details populated. If the registered representative was not updated, you would need to register the representative via the SARS website on the SARS online query system tile, followed by register a representative. And the documents required for this functionality are the representative's certified ID copy, the representative's proof of residence, the company's registration certificate, the letter of appointment signed by all directors, as well as a picture of the representative holding his or her ID and a note that says, update my details. If there are no contact details for the representative, then the representative of the company needs to book an appointment with the branch via the SARS website so that they can have the e-filing security details updated. Thank you, Daneo.
Thank you so much, Iman. Okay, another question. As my tax practitioner tried to activate my company income tax number on his profile, but the system shows not available, then he was told that there is no registered representative myself. After that, my practitioner tried again, but still have the same issues. May I ask Noktula to assist us on responding to this one? Over to you, Noktula.
I guess it now. And then in this case, the representative needs to make an appointment with SARS to merge the entity, which is for either the company or the trust, and also make sure that the merge is done on the individual profile. The representative must also have the e-filing security details updated so that the tax type can be requested and well as approved. Thank you, Sitineo.
Thank you. Okay, as we continue, ladies and gentlemen, I was asked by my tax practitioner to approve a tax type activation on the SARS website for my company. When I visited the SARS website, I found out that the cell phone number and the email address on the system is incorrect. I was told by SARS I needed to visit SARS to update my contact details, which I did. But to my surprise, when I'm trying to approve the activation on the SARS website, it still reflects the same incorrect details. What do I do to correct this? Mark, may you kindly assist us in explaining to the taxpayer how can they sort out this query, please?
Thank you, Daneo. Most definitely. The taxpayer please need to make sure that the e-filing security details have been updated and not just the contact details. Once the update is done, the tax practitioner must cancel the first activation request and redo the request so the system can pull updated contact details. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just join us, kindly note that we are busy with the question and answer session. And you still have an opportunity if you still want to ask question on the chat board. And also you can use the email address digitalquestions@sars.gov. Please note that this email address is only for this webinar related questions and will be closed immediately after this session. As we continue with our questions, the next question is, I have registered for VAT at SARS, but when I try to activate the VAT tax type on e-filing, there is no option for VAT under tax type. Mbongiseni, may I request that you assist us with this question, please?
Thank you, Sistina. Good evening to everyone. The representative of the entity has to make an appointment with SARS because the entity has more than one profile on the SARS system. One profile might be for income tax and another one might be for VAT. So these profiles of the entity have to be merged. Once these profiles are merged, all tax types, including the VAT, will reflect on the one entity. Thank you, Sistina.
Thank you, Mbongiseni. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, my company has two VAT numbers. I need to submit a VAT return on a different number, but the system only shows return on one VAT number and not the second one. When I go to tax type, both VAT numbers are showing successfully activated. How do I get a second VAT number's return? Nokuthula, may I ask you to assist us in responding to this question, please, Nokuthula?
Yeah, thank you, Sistina. And okay, so since the company has two VAT numbers, the system will automatically create a second company on your profile when it comes to return. So please start by searching the taxpayer using the tax reference number that is requested. And then you will go to organization, go to rights groups, manage groups, and then click on manage payers on the group where the company is registered. And then you make sure that the second company is ticked in that group. You will then have access to the VAT returns when you select the correct company from the taxpayer list. Thank you, Sis Dineo.
Thank you, Nokuthula. I would like to change my appointment date with SARS. How do I do that? Mark, would you kindly assist us with this question, please?
Yes, thank you. You will need to first cancel the existing booking. You can do this by following these following steps. Number one, you have to log on the SARS website and open the e-booking form. You complete the requested details section of the form, and you complete the capture screen and click on next. The screen will display your active e-booking. Then you click on the delete icon, which will be displayed to cancel the e-booking. Once that is done, a message will pop up for you to confirm the cancellation. After that, you have to click yes, cancel button. Once you have managed to cancel the existing appointment, book a new appointment with your desired date and time. Thank you, Sis.
Thank you, Mark. I have made several attempts in obtaining a tender tax compliance status on both the SARS online query system and e-filing. Is there something wrong with the SARS digital system? Iman, I know you'll be able to assist us with this one.
Thank you, Daneo. The new enhanced tax compliance status application form has been introduced to facilitate the consolidation of foreign investment allowance, which is FIA, and immigration applications into a single application. Approval international transfer. In addition, the tender option was therefore removed, and the good standing tax compliance status must be used for all other scenarios where a third party wants to verify a taxpayer's tax compliance status. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, I have recently been appointed as a representative for this big corporation, and I'm unable to apply for the business tax compliance status on the SARS online query system. And I get the following message. Thank you for your query. The taxpayer attempting to make an e-booking is a large business or a high net worth individual or restricted tax unit taxpayer. We do not offer e-booking for this taxpayer type. Please consult the respective specialized unit or the SARS website for further assistance. May I ask Mbongiseni to assist us in responding to this one? Mbongiseni, over
Thank you,
to you.
Sister Newa. The online query system caters for a specific segment of taxpayers in exclusion of large businesses and high net worth individuals, which have their own dedicated service channel. Please kindly contact the respective area. Thank you, Sister Newa.
Thank you so much. So ladies and gentlemen, it's not like we are excluding you completely from this function. You just need to contact the specialized unit for those areas that's been indicated. They will be able to assist you. As we continue with our questions, I tried to do a trust registration through SARS online query system, but SARS informed that I can only register into the nearest SARS office. What is then the purpose of digital channel? Why can't I not register the trust through Mbongiseni? Would you kindly assist us with this one?
Thank you again, Sister Newa. The trust registration on the SARS online query system still works. The trust registration on the SARS online query system is not finalized instantly because the supporting documents attached need to be verified. You will only be required to visit the SARS branch if the document attached cannot be verified. Thank you, Sister Newa.
Thank you, Mbongiseni. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't despair with the trust registration. All the supporting documents be verified. Should everything go accordingly, you will be registered without you having to even come to the office. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have come now to the end of the questions that we have received. Thank you so much, team. You were awesome. I believe that the taxpayer did find clarity and that their questions are now answered, and they'll be able to utilize our digital platform to comply with their tax obligations. I noticed that you have been very interactive on audience on our chat box. Please note that for all the unanswered questions, they will be able to be added on our frequently asked document, which you can find on our website under the SMME page. Should you have any other service escalation, please visit our SARS website. We have a dedicated SMME webpage on the SARS website, www.sars.gov.za. You'll find a link to the small businesses webpage on the landing page. You can also call the contact center on 0800 007277 and choose option 6. You are also able to book an appointment on our website and choose the SMME option. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Over to you, Program Director.
Talk about the power of digital channels and making it more simpler and convenient for our taxpayers, SMMEs, and traders to comply. Unlike back in the days, you can now literally do everything at the drop of a hat in the comfort of your own home. How exciting is that? Thank you, Dineo and colleagues, for your prompt responses to the questions. If your question has not yet been answered, please be on the lookout for the frequently asked questions on the SARS website for the response to your question. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our webinar, and I would like to thank you all for your time and participation. I hope this webinar has met all your expectations. But before we close, I would also like to thank all the speakers, the panelists, organizers, and the IT team for your contributions towards the success of a webinar. Remember, this presentation will be made available for you on the SARS website, and the webinar recording will also be made available for you on the SARS YouTube channel. You just check for SARS TV on YouTube and you'll be able to get it for future viewing. Please do not forget to subscribe and follow us on the SARS YouTube channel and also on our social media pages on X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Like I mentioned at the beginning, as soon as you leave this webinar, you will be directed to the survey. Please remember to complete this survey as much as you can because your participation will be highly appreciated. From myself, Patuchedzo Chioda, thank you so much for your time and participation. Have yourself a wonderful evening and goodbye.
Fellow South Africans, I'm addressing you this evening.
All your years of paying tax, you helped us overcome our darkest hour. You, along with every other loyal taxpayer, helped build this nation. Thank you for every life you saved and for every risk you braved, for giving our future generation a healthy start. When you saw many of our vulnerable communities, you provided for them. When you saw our healthcare workers on the front lines battling COVID, you rose to the occasion and gave them the tools to save lives. Without your tax compliance, we wouldn't be able to fight a good fight. Thank you for contributing to the important services our vulnerable communities rely on every day. To all taxpayers and traders, continue to pay your tax because it matters to millions of South Africans who depend on it. Your tax matters.